going to show you guys how to use the Cricut Mug Press from start to finish. I'm going to show you guys how to create your very own mug wraps, as well as just designing out and resizing your graphic images over in Canva. Hi, I'm Crystal Ann with Design Bundle's YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, make sure you guys hit that notification bell down below, as well as the subscribe button so you guys don't miss any of our crafting tutorials. For today's projects, we're going to be using this bundle right here. This is the Wonderful Graphics bundle, and it includes tons of graphics. So this is going to be perfect for creating designs to go on your mugs, t-shirts, sublimation, print then cut designs with your Cricut, or even making stickers. Graphic designers, you could also be using this to create more designs. So many different ideas to do with these, but I thought today I'm actually going to walk you guys through the mug wraps. So there is tons of these to choose from, so many cute ones, even some holiday themed ones, but the one that I actually want to use today is the super cute camping theme one right here. Love it. So let's go ahead and head on over to Canva. Now that we're over here in Canva, I've already started a blank canvas. I just did 11 by 8.5, so this is long ways horizontal, if you will, so that way we could do our mug wrap. So one of the very first things that you want to do is go ahead and upload and bring in your images. You could definitely just simply click on uploads right here and upload them there. Or you can do what I prefer, which is a drag and drop. All you simply have to do is grab your file just like so, open up your folder, and then you're just simply going to drag and drop it in there. I really love that. It's one of my favorite methods, and you can actually select multiple at a time by holding down your shift and clicking those, or just dragging over and grabbing multiple and bringing those in at a time. I just find it so much quicker than going up here to upload files and all of that. So now that you have those in here, what I like to do is go ahead and open a second page, and I'll bring all of those designs down here. That way I can have those ready to go. You definitely don't have to do that. You can simply just go ahead and select everything, hit delete, and then as we're needing them, we would just select them from over here and do all that. So whatever you like to do, what's the easiest for you, definitely feel free to do that. The next thing that we want to do is go up here to elements, and you want to click on a square, just simply a square. This is how we are going to create the wraps. Now, if you weren't doing a wrap, you wouldn't need this. We're going to simply size out, which I'll show you guys here in a bit how to do that. So to create that wrap, we need to know the measurements of our mug. So I want to know the height as well as the width of this mug so I can get a full wrap. And then I also want to add 1/4 inch on each end. Then what I want to do is also allow 1/2 inch on top as well as the bottom. That way it gives 1/4 on each piece to allow for that perfect alignment whenever it comes to our full wraps. So let's go ahead and take our tape measure and figure out the measurements. So I'm going to be using this mug right here. For this project, I'm using the Cricut mugs. I really prefer these just because I can simply go grab them locally. Target, Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Joann's, you name it. Most online dealers also sell these. Now, another thing is you can definitely use any sort of sublimation mug that is around 10 to 15 ounces, they will fit in here. Cricut even has stackable mugs where you can make a design and they stack, and I believe those are the 10-ounce mugs. So lots of variety there. You don't have to use a Cricut, but that is what I'm using today. And I do believe I'm using the 15-ounce, so this is their bigger coffee mug. So what we're gonna do to measure this is I'm simply going to take this. Now let me show you guys my new little gadget here. If you guys did not see this, I actually did a new Temu, I'm going to say it correctly today. I always say Temu haul over on my channel, Crystal Ann. Make sure you guys follow over there if you already don't. But what this does is it actually holds my mug. So it's really, really cool, right? So it actually just cradles it so nicely, and it's tapered as well. So I don't know if you guys can notice that or tell, it's actually pointing towards me. So you guys have to check it out. I'll have it linked down below for you. So this is gonna allow me to get that perfect height here. So we're just gonna take our tape measure here. And so I've got around 4 1/4, so I'm gonna do 4.75 high. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. So all I simply have to do is grab the height piece here and drag it up to the 4.75. I'll go ahead and just do 4.8 just to be safe. Now let's go ahead and figure out our width, all right? So for our width, I'm gonna go ahead and get as close as I can to that handle, leaving around 1/4 inch or so. And then we are gonna wrap this guy all the way around here. All right, so I'm getting around 9 inches. So I'm gonna go ahead and do about 9.5 just to make sure I'm good to go. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take this piece now and do 9.5. So we're just gonna drag it out here until we can see that number. There we go, perfect. So now I'm gonna go ahead and scoot this guy in. This is my wrap. I could go ahead and get it centered if I wanted to, or just kind of have it up here at the top. I'm going to be trimming mine down, so I'll probably go ahead and get mine right here at the top so it's kind of perfect alignment, and then I can just trim off my sides. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start to design this guy out. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with my very first design, which is going to be this camper, if I could get everything out of the way here. I know the way I work is probably a hot mess, but you guys work however it's gonna be simple for you. So I'm gonna grab my design here, I'm gonna size it down and figure out about where I want this to go. Now, I'm not just gonna size this to this paper. Definitely don't wanna do that because remember, we're allowing that 1/4 inch at the top and the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure on my mug and figure out about how high I want my design to be, which is around 3 inches. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I'm gonna size this out to 3 inches high. So you can always see that with that little black bar right there on the side. So we're gonna go ahead and get 3 inches just like that. So now the really cool thing about this is those hash bars, and I actually probably will go ahead and center this just so I can go ahead and center my entire design based off of it. So what I can do is take this, and you're gonna see that I'm gonna be able to perfectly get that centered in that wrap, right? So I can go ahead and do that. And then I want to duplicate this because I'm actually wanting this to be on the other side as well. So we're just going to go ahead and hit that duplicate button, which is right there. And then we're going to go ahead and do this. Now you're going to notice you see the little dashed line at the top as well as the center, and that's telling us that it is perfectly even there. And so I'm just going to kind of figure out about where I want that to go, just kind of making those pretty even, leaving that little bit of an edge there and just trying to even those up as good as I can. So that looks absolutely perfect to me. Now I'm going to go in and add just a few small elements. So let's go ahead and grab a few. For my next piece, I actually want to bring in this really cute sign here, and I think this will be really, really cute to kind of include in here. So maybe I could kind of get one right there. You see how it perfectly told me it was centered, and it's also giving me the numbers on the sides just to tell me that is absolutely perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to continue to grab more elements. I'm going to size this guy down, figuring about how big I want it to be. So I'm thinking something about like that. And so I'm gonna go ahead and get one here, and then I'm gonna duplicate it. So I'm gonna be able to keep these the same size. Maybe get one right up here, something about like that. And then I could go ahead and duplicate it again. So this is one of those ones where I'm gonna use the element a couple of times. So just kind of lining that up there. You can see whenever you are even. So I can see that as at the bottom of that. We'll duplicate it again. And so I'm just kind of creating myself a little bit of a pattern. So I'm gonna go ahead and make sure. And so you can see I'm lining up with the bottom of the other one, so I can make sure I can see those lines there. So I think that looks good. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and grab this cute s'mores on a stick because it matches my design. And then I'm gonna size that out. Now the really cool thing too is we can rotate these, so I can kind of turn that a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and get one right up here. I'll duplicate it again. Maybe rotate this guy like so. Get one right over here, and then I'm just gonna keep on doing that. Now I am completely happy with that. One of the things that I can actually do too is I can create either a pattern, I could bring in a pattern design, or I could change the color. So if I'm not just gonna delete this, because at this point, once you're done getting everything ready to go, you could actually delete this layer, so then it's gonna keep my mug white, or I'm gonna put that right back. The other thing that you can do is simply click on that and you can change the color. So you can do gradient, you can do whatever you would like. One of the really cool things about Canva is they can actually pull the colors out of your photos. So you guys can see here, each one is telling me which photo it's coming from. That way I could color coordinate and get this absolutely perfect. So one of the ones I think I wanna try first is like this pink right here. I think that's really, really cute. Maybe the green. I think the green would be too much because obviously the grass, you can't see it. I think that's also cute. Any of these little cute colors right here. I actually really love that yellow as well. That's also super, super cute. And then you can also say see all. So if I need to see a little bit more color, I can definitely do that as well. So this one right here is actually a little bit of an off-white. It's just not all white. Or simply, once again, this pink. I don't know. I think let's go ahead and just leave it as white, but you see the options that you can do. I'm gonna go back up here and do white. Another thing you can definitely do is there is gradients, so you can do color gradients and all those fun things. So the next thing that I want to do is I'm actually just going to go ahead and select everything. I could have got rid of that square because obviously I'm doing it white, but we're just going to go ahead and leave it for the sake of this. I've selected everything, and then you could go ahead and group. So that way everything is now one solid file, and I can move that around. So I can actually move this back up here at the top like I wanted to originally. And this guy is completely ready to go. Now, before I go print this out, let me just simply show you sizing for the designs, which basically already showed up there, but let me show you again. So if I was just simply going to be sizing this guy out for my mug to put one on the front and one on the back, one of the very first things that I would actually do, this design in particular, you notice there's a lot of white space up here and down here. So if I actually go to size this down, so say for example, I want a 3x3 or 3.5 by 3.5, and I go to size this out, it's actually not gonna be 3.5 by 3.5 because there's all this extra space. So when I go to print it, I'm gonna notice that my design is like this big. So be mindful, and what you can do to fix that is you can go in here and we can shrink this guy down before we actually touch the design, and I'll do the same thing. If you need to adjust the sides, because sometimes you don't, you can go ahead and adjust those as well. So I'm gonna bring those in just to make sure I'm sizing this how I want to. So at this point, now I could go ahead and size it. So I know that my height, I believe, let me go ahead and double check, was around 3 inches. I could probably even do, I'm just gonna do 3 inches high, so I'm gonna stick with that. And actually, because of the size of this design, I've got to be careful. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So if I go to size this at 3 high, right? I'm gonna go ahead and get us down there. There we go. It's still gonna be 3.7 because the way that this design is designed this way and not this way, it's actually gonna give me 3.7, which is almost 4 inches. So that may be quite large. So you may wanna keep that in mind as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and just leave it. I think it's gonna be okay. And that's how I would do that. Now, if I was gonna do one on front and back, same thing, would go ahead and duplicate it. So I would be able to just cut these out. Now, say for example, I was gonna be do a ton of these, and I'm actually printing them out. I could print out a bunch of these at one time and just continue to select like this, do 2 at a time, duplicate, do that, and so on and so forth. That way I can print out for several mugs, right? So there's that. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this page, and now we're gonna get ready to print it. First thing that we wanna do is go ahead and hit share. I'm gonna go ahead and hit download, and then just simply hit download one more time. Now we're ready to send this over to the Sawgrass Print Manager. Now, if you guys see my tutorial the other day where I gave you guys some sublimation tips and tricks, you guys would have found out that you could actually create more smart folders that I'm showing you all the time for Sawgrass. So one of the ones that we created was the mug, so I thought let's go ahead and use it today. If you haven't seen that, I'll have it linked above or down below, so definitely make sure you check it out. All right, so what we're gonna simply do is grab our design, drop it into the mugs, and you're gonna notice we have this guy already ready for mugs, right? So it's went to ceramic mugs, it's went to my SG500, it's mirrored, it's ready to go. So I'm simply gonna go ahead and hit print. And there we have it, right? So we've got our print here. Now, because I brought it up at the top and centered that, I know that this is perfectly down. I just need to cut it 4.75. So I'm gonna load it in my paper cutter just like this. So I'm gonna have it in this direction here. That way, whenever I go to measure this at that 4.75, just like this is gonna be cut perfectly for my design, right? So perfect, there we have that part. So now I'm just gonna go through and trim off a little bit on each side. So I'm just gonna go over here. And I don't have to worry about, honestly, where, because this is a white background. I just need to make sure I get enough of that off just to allow for tape. I may have to come back and get a little bit more, we'll see. I just don't wanna cut into my design. So it doesn't really matter the width on this, because as long as we even it up on our mug, we're gonna be good to go. So I'm just gonna double check here on each side. I may take off just a little bit more, because I took a little bit more on the other side. I wanna make sure when I go to do that, I'm gonna be able to visually see. So there is our design. I'll go ahead and bring it up here. So this is our full wrap that we made. So I'm gonna go ahead and scoot this guy out of the way. One of the very first things that you want to do is take a clean cloth like this. I like to save these little microfiber cloths that you get with your eyeglasses, your phone cases. I always just toss them in the craft space. So if you guys ever get these with anything and you're used to just tossing them out, or if you have some eyeglasses and you may have some laying around, I love them for this. So you're just gonna make sure that you have cleaned that of any sort of oil and debris. You could definitely use rubbing alcohol to clean that off as well. So now that we've done that, you wanna grab yourself some heat tape, and then we're gonna take our design and just make sure we get this nice and lined up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get it on here, just like so. Just kind of even that up with the top and the bottom. And then we're just gonna go ahead and make sure that handle is nice and centered here. Now we're just gonna take some heat tape. And so I'm gonna get one on this side. I'm gonna pull nice and tight. Get another one on the other side here. All right. Making sure I'm pulling nice and tight. A lot of times I just get the tape first and then I can pull that just like so. So once I get those two pieces started, I can actually go back in and add one on the top and the bottom. Now that we have our mug wrapped, we're ready to go. You wanna make sure that ahead of time, I did this before I started my project. I've got my mug press plugged in, turned on, and now we're just simply going to load this guy into the press. I'm just gonna get that in there. I'm just gonna make sure that whenever I go to close this, all of my paper is being pushed in there, right? And then you're just simply going to close it. The really cool thing about the Cricut Mug Press, if you guys are new to the Cricut Mug Press, is whenever you turn it on, you're gonna wait for it to turn green, which means it's ready to go. And then you actually have 5 dots here. And what those are is every time a minute passes, it will light up. So right now, it is flashing on the first one. As soon as it turns solid and moves over, a whole minute has passed. So you have 5 minutes total. It's so cool. We don't have to set the time or the temp. This guy is just completely ready to go. And when we're done, we'll be able to just lift it up and pull it out. So you guys will see that in just a bit. We just got our beep, so we are ready to go. So I'm gonna pop this guy open just like that. Now the really cool thing about a mug press as well from Cricut, there's other brands too that do the same thing. The handle will stay close to the touch, so you can actually lift this up like that, or you can grab yourself a heat glove just to be safe. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Now we're just gonna go ahead and grab that handle and pull it straight up. You can just set this aside, let it cool down, but what I actually like to do is peel it while it's warm. So I'm just gonna take some tweezers here and we are going to get a reveal. So you're just gonna get that tape going, just like so. And now we're ready to see, look at how cute that is. It is amazing, and it's a full wrap. We created our own, adding these little elements in there. How cool is that? I almost kind of wish I would have added maybe a few more in here, but I still think it looks really, really great. So you guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think about the mug? It is so stinking cute. Love, love, love this. Now, like I said, definitely check out those graphics. They're perfect. You could use the big designs if you wanted to. Throw them on coasters and t-shirts or create stickers, all sorts of fun things, and make them your own. Combine several of those pieces together. But you can see how we took those and created our very own mug wraps. It's so, so easy to do that right there inside of Canva. Another thing that you can definitely do too is taking like a full pattern. So say I took a floral pattern and then I took some font in there, changed it to white, it would knock it out of the pattern because the mug is white. And so you would have that in there. There's just lots of different ideas that you can do whenever it comes to wrapping these mugs. I'm gonna show you guys one more time how cool this guy came. I really love this part right here, especially with the sign. I just think it came out fabulous. Love it. Like I said, y'all comment down below and let me know. Did you guys learn something new today? Do you guys use Canva? What is your favorite thing to do over in Canva? I highly recommend it. I love it. And what we did today inside of Canva was completely free. You do not have to pay for the advanced versions to be able to accomplish what we did here. You could do the same thing for your stickers. You could go in there on that 8.5 by 11, take those graphics, size them down and get them all over there, save that, and then take it over to Cricut Design Space, get rid of that background, and you can make sticker sheets as well. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's tutorial. If you did, please make sure you guys hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell down below so you guys don't miss any of our crafting tutorials, as well as that thumbs up. I really, really appreciate when you guys do that as well. So don't forget the thumbs. I'll see you guys on the next one.